I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I almost didn't want to stream today. And it's not that, I'm not actually tired. I'm not actually sick. Or, or anything like that. I am just legitimately, as the title said, I can feel myself hitting burnout on this comic. And I'm almost done. Well, not done with the comic. I'm almost done up to the point where I'm going to go on hiatus. I'm almost up to that point. But it's just getting to that point because I haven't really been working on the comic off stream, like a little bit behind the scenes, but most of it's just been for other projects that are demanding more of my attention. And especially recently, because in the most affectionate way possible, some bitch on Tumblr brought up the fact, brought up some hot takes on Transformers. I won't get into the specifics, but I'm sitting there like, damn it, I need to make a comic about it now. Fuck. I got Transformers brain rot so bad. It hurts. I finally finished watching Cyberverse, though. That is an adorable show. And it is perfect. Out of all three, it's technically 4 seasons, but I'm just gonna say 3 since season 4 was legitimately 2 episodes. Out of all the 3 seasons that Cyberverse ran, only one human actually ever appears and has a line of dialogue, and that was one line of dialogue. They were driving by in a car, and, they were posing in front of a movie poster so they wouldn't get caught, and it's like, I want to watch that movie. That was it. And that was hilarious. I secretly count it as an Iron Giant reference. I don't care. It was hilarious. Anyway. Slow stream today, guys. Coloring and whatnot. I mean, I could start working on the next few pages, but I don't like doing the sketching and dialogue on stream. So I'll just do the coloring and stream and then work on other things. Also, since it's getting close to summer, not yet, but close to summer, June might see some schedule changes. Official announcement on that. June might see some schedule changes because I have a very specific schedule for summer. And I've been gardening a lot, so yeah, that's gonna... Ugh. Last week I was fixing a fence. This week I was gardening. Anyway. Let's get this show on the road. Oh, fuck me. Okay. Since I already have the backgrounds of this page done, I think I'm gonna do a, air quote, warm up and just work on, get these characters done first. Come on, move, thank you. Even though it's a few pages ahead, don't care. God, man, what happened this week? Wait, was that last week? I mean, before last Tuesday where I finished Cyberverse? Man, I don't know. I legit do not remember what happened last week. Aside from me working on a fence. Because that was a pain in the ass. You know, since, in July, I'm gonna point this out for anyone watching after the fact. In July, Path to Brighter Stars will be going on hiatus for Art Fight. Because I don't like working on the comic while posting my attacks for Art Fight. I like having it separated, sectioned off. And I don't want to have to worry about 3 things at once, even though I do that anyway. I'm on the wrong fucking layer. Anyway, so I am wondering if in that time I have, you know, I could just come right back to it, because I know a lot of people liked the comic on DeviantArt, but I like working on other things. And as much as I want to get this comic done, I want it done correctly, like and I want it to be good. You know? Oh no, it actually just dropped there. So I think that's one of the problems what I have with working on projects like this is I always want to make it, when I'm working on, I always think about, is this as good as I can make it, or am I just half-assing it? Because I don't like half-assing it. Ah, shut up. But if I'm hitting a wall and need a break, or at the very least, need to recharge properly, like, do I need to actually take a break from the comic, or do I just need to properly take a break? Or just get it done. This might be one of those power through moments, because I've literally not been working on it, because I've been doing other things. However, if I drop those other things for like a day or two just to catch up on the comic, I might have to do that just to get it done. But, you know, there's back to it. I want it done as good as I can make it without, you know, rushing anything. So that's what I actually do today. Not on stream, of course, because I hate sketching on stream. Well, who knows, maybe. Maybe I'll lose all my senses and go full manic. I think my biggest struggle, one of my biggest struggles with just content creation in general is I'll come up with an idea for something because someone pointed it out, and like usually people like will point something out and then like literally next bit in the part of the thread they'll say, oops, my hand slipped, and then have like a fully illustrated whatever based on, you know, this is very vague, but like if you mention like Batman in a dress or something wearing heels and someone go, oops, my hand slipped, and then bust out this beautifully fully illustrated piece. It was like, how do you do that so spontaneously? That's one of my issues. How do you work spontaneously on something? Because I have this idea. Hello, Exospace. I'm ranting about burnout. Because I have this idea for just a few million ideas for a hilarious side project that actually would be fun to write and work on. But I'm doing other shit right now. I'm doing this. I should be working on my other series, Dreamwalkers. Like, the main series. The reason why my channel got so big suddenly. But I've just kind of not been working on it. Because I've been working on videos and whatnot. And I do apologize to anyone who subscribed for Dreamwalkers. I didn't mean to abandon it. I just hit writer's block on one bit and couldn't move past that scene because I struggle with being spontaneous. There's a word for it. It's not spontaneity, but like being spontaneous. What's the word for that? I struggle with that and the fact that I can't do it. Anyway, just to show how much I struggle with, no, not ambitious, because I have a lot of ambition. It's just I can't drop one project and substitute it for another without significant amount of pain. Like, I swear I'm not autistic, but in that regard, I just might be. Because if I'm hitting burnout on a series, it's like, no, it is whatever part of the year. It is winter and it is spring and not quite summer. So spring, not quite summer, I work on Path to Brighter Stars because I want to get the comic done. And it's a series, so it's going to take me a shit long time to do, so I need to, you know, forgive myself in that regard. Because then in summer, I work on Art Fight, and then the comic goes on hiatus. And then August, September are... I don't know what I do August, September. For my schedule for August, I have it right back to Path to Brighter Stars for a month, which is wild. And then September, October, November is Gatesville, which I made that series my fall project because it's got vampires and werewolves and whatnot. You know, very spooky time story. I'm on the wrong layer. And then winter, I do Dreamwalkers. At least that's what I have been doing. Now, if that system just doesn't work for me anymore, I will have to switch. which is gonna be a pain because I like having everything scheduled. So I can dedicate myself to something fully and not, like, get sidetracked on different projects and not make any progress. But then it does leave all my other projects and whatnot just to collect dust while I work, quote, work on the other thing. Which is very irritating. Because I have like 12 other stories that I want to work on and whatnot, and I just got a few other ideas for like games and whatnot, but I don't know how to make games, so that's on the back burner until I can figure that out. That is all wrong here. And I also have several stories that I want to be animated or eventually pitch as a TV show, so I'm getting scripts and character designs done, because I don't know how to pitch shows. But also at the same time, I don't want to pitch the show to a studio, because I don't want the studio to steal my baby from me and bastardize the poor thing. Anyway. So, anyway, it's just, I'm hitting that, it's that time of year of transition where I feel like I'm hitting a wall, but the only wall is in my head. So I just need to take a step back and reevaluate what it is exactly that I'm feeling and why I'm feeling it. I am feeling like something needs to change in my schedule because I can feel summer coming. It's getting a lot hotter around my area, and I have a very specific schedule for summer. So my mind wants to, yep, let's switch to our summer schedule right now. We switch right now and do our summer projects. But it's not summer. So I just need to tell myself to calm the fuck down. But, you know, that never actually works. Okay, full ears. Stripe. Stripe. Oh. Stripe. There we go. Lectures were boring today. I bet. I used to like school. Mostly when I was in junior high, high school. I think for two reasons. Number one, it was really the only time I got to see and hang out with my friends because we didn't live in town. So we couldn't just like, oh yeah, what do you say after class? We go hang out at the park. And I'm like, well, I take the bus home, so I can't hang out today, guys. So I liked school because of that. And now I like school. You know, I realized I liked school when I was younger because of the set structure. It had a very clear schedule that everyone adhered to. And only a force of nature could disrupt that schedule. So that's why I liked school growing up. That, and I was also really good at it. I hated hanging... I liked hanging out with my friends, but at the same time, I actually hated hanging out with those people. Because I was talking with my mom the other day, and I was sitting there, like, realizing, oh my god, the only time, and this is, like, not a hot take or a trigger warning, but I was like, I had the realization that hit me like a truck. Like, the only time I had actually, been on the receiving end of blatant sexism and misogyny was from other girls that were my age or younger. Why? Because I like Transformers. I was a girl who liked Transformers, didn't like volleyball, or sports of any kind, really. Wasn't interested in makeup or anything. I was legitimately asked if I was even a real girl at several points. I was just, oh. And I was sitting there thinking, like, oh yeah, we used to tease each other all the time, but then I was sitting there realizing, no, they would tease me. I was at the receiving end. That's called and what they did was not teasing. That was harassment. That I was just, oh yeah, fun. I'm being included. Yeah, I don't know. Like, me back then was like, what's wrong with liking Transformers? It's an amazing show, and I, at the time, liked the movies, because they were all we had. In junior high, I was super into Transformers Armada. Oh my god, such nostalgia for that show. Because that was before I discovered Transformers Animated. And then again, it had just come out, like, that year, I think. When I was in junior high. So then when I finally did get around to discovering it, absolutely loved every second of that show. I was just an awkward nerd back then. Wasn't quite a geek, just a nerd. High school, I was a geek. But junior high, full-ass nerd. And the thing was, also, I was harassed for not liking sports or not being interested in doing sports, not only from other students, but also by the teachers. Now, I know that the teachers or that they weren't harassing me in that regard, but they were, I guess the proper term was hounding me for not getting into sports because the school was so small. I was literally I was the only person in the entire high school that wasn't in a sport, and the school got grants for how they performed in sports. So I wasn't, quote, contributing to the school spirit by going out for sports. Like, back then, it's like, I'm just not interested in sports, so I'm not good at it anyway, so all I'm gonna do is embarrass everyone and myself. But now I realize is they just wanted the grant money. All of my years of heartache for not, like, making it my problem that I didn't like to play volleyball or basketball or track or whatnot was because they wanted the grant. But hey, they mostly left me alone because I was a straight A student. It was like, well, you're not in the sports, but you're a straight A student, so I guess you have, like, you boost our test score. Our test score, so that's good. Well, I think I literally carried that stroll. Oh, my back. But then when we transferred high schools, no, I spent junior high there, but then in the 9th for high school, I transferred into a different school, a bigger school, and oh my god, the euphoria of being in a big school where I wasn't literally the smartest person in the entire class, or they didn't need me to go out for sports. I was just, the dopamine that rushed through my system not being hounded. So are you gonna try for volleyball this year? They literally ignored me the whole time, and I loved it. It was, yes, please ignore me. I am just awkward teen that is really into My Little Pony. Because I was so afraid of being made fun of for liking Transformers that I abandoned it during high school and started watching My Little Pony. Oh my god. And it's funny, because even when the classmates found out I liked watching My Little Pony, they didn't make fun of me or ostracize me for it. They might have, thought I was weird, but they kept it to themselves, at least, in that high school. I was on my computer, and one of the, upperclassmen, I won't say her name, mostly because I don't remember it, but we were, table mates in chemistry and whatnot, and for history, because we had to, combine classes for certain subjects. And I'd be watching on the school laptop, My Little Pony. She's like, what are you watching? Oh my god. And just... And I said, hey, it's good. Here, check out the song. And then she's like, oh, that's catchy. But yeah, that was the extent of the harassment on that regard went. Now, I was definitely made fun of for other things. Or ignored for other things, I should say. But those were very minor in comparison. We're just trying to ignore the fact that he doesn't have a tail in this frame. Oh. And I already moved him down. Shoot. Well. So what were y'all bullied for in school? I was bullied for not being girly enough. That was mostly junior high. But then, people in junior high, 8th graders are the meanest people in the world. I believe, like what John Mulaney said, I fully agree with him on that regard. 8th graders are the meanest people in the world. But why was bullying, like, more serious? Become more serious now? Like, when you mean, like, more serious, do you mean, like, people are treating it as a bigger issue, or is it, like, getting more out of hand? Because I don't want to... Because I don't count, harassing and hate crimes bullying. I consider bullying as, you know, being more petty. Because, like, if someone's literally getting the shit kicked out of them because they're gay, I don't count that as bullying. People seeing it as, like, ramming someone or... Yeah, like, if you're getting your face smashed into a locker room, into a school locker, I don't count that as bullying, really. I count that more as, you know, actual assault. But maybe it is considered bullying, because it's for petty reasons. And so I honestly don't know why it's become more, shall we say, violent over the years. But also, if you take into consideration, like, some of the, quote, bullying that went on, like, back in the 80s or early 90s, some of the shit that happens today is nothing compared to the shit they did back then to each other. But then again, I wouldn't consider that was considered bullying back then. Well, nowadays you could say, no, that's assault. That's attempted murder. But then again, CPS and Child Protective Services weren't even a thing until 1986, I think, is when CASA was CPS. I think CASA came later. When CPS was established. So then, you know, people started realizing, oh, children are people too and should have, you know, the rights to feel happy and healthy, and not just, well, back in my day when we worked at the asbestos factory. You know? I heard the hand-to-hand fight, smackdowns, shoving someone down the stairs, yeah. Yeah, like, in big cities. Like, I never saw it at my school, except one time there was a fight, but it was like 30 seconds. Barely 30 seconds. People throw hands. And it's been happening in at least in America, for, like, since school was a thing. That's been happening. Alright, so what am I going to use for lighting? Because it is supposed to be sunset here. flamethrower hands, not shotguns. Pew pew. Okay, well, yes, in America we are famous for school shootings and whatnot. Most British people. Well, at least our schools. Shut up. Okay. Kindly. You know, it's funny. I was about to mention how the emphasis on bullying has gotten so... I don't want to say out of hand, but it's just so wild in America because they were, like, having a pep assembly, which is basically you take all the students in the school and shove them in the room together and force them to listen to a presentation about Columbine, which was and is still a very famous school shooting. Mostly, they attribute it to, like, oh, we gotta, this girl's diary. This girl's like the Anne Frank of Columbine because her journal was found out in the grass and she was one of the first victims. But then in that assembly, then they made it all about bullying. Again, they made it all about bullying. Is how, oh, if we didn't bully people or harass them for being different, maybe this wouldn't have happened and whatnot. I was like, they were literally Nazi sympathizers. Huh? Excuse me? What does bullying have to do with Nazi sympathizers? I don't know, man. Shit's fucked in America. Ooh, my lunch!
Can you guess which one's the tartar?
You need a fish and chips. Alright, I want to guess the tea. No milk?
No.
It wouldn't work.
Not really, no, I would have.
Alright.
Unless you want me to add some, then I can, but...
Peach?
Yeah.
Just peach?
Yeah.
I'm tasting something else in there, though.
I have the spiced peach, and then I added Snapple to it.
Oh, that's what I'm tasting.
There wasn't enough room, and I didn't want to just leave it there, so I topped it off with some Snapple. Oh, yeah, I taste that. Thank you. You got the last of the tzatziki, so enjoy it. Oh, I want to hear your opinion on my tartar sauce.
I dropped my I dropped my fry. Here we go. Hold up.
Okay, good. Because I was tasting it and I was like...
That tastes better than store. It's better than restaurant tartar sauce. Remember that sauce we ate at that one fish place down in Cannon Beach?
Yeah.
Alright, tartar. That's better than that.
Wow, really?
How'd you manage? What'd you do?
So I did mayonnaise, relish, then I did pepper, salt, a lot of garlic, and a lot of onion powder.
Yeah.
I was going to mince an onion, but I didn't think we had one in there, and I also was too busy doing 5 other things, so I was like, you know what? Onion powder.
Yeah, some minced onions would really elevate that.
I added a cap of lemon juice.
I think that's it. That's also it.
The cap of lemon juice.
Maybe next time, some cayenne or paprika.
Okay.
Just to...
Yeah.
Because that jiki... This...
Yeah. I gave you more tartar sauce because we didn't have a lot of the other ones, so.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Oh, there's also leftover tartar sauce. I'm putting it in a container.
Can I have a fork, please?
Oh, yeah.
For my fish? Momentarily. Hold up.
There you go.
Thank you.
There you go.
Arigato. I apologize to the British for making fun of them earlier as I eat my fish and chips. We're in a momentary intermission while I eat this. It is lunchtime for me here, so I'm gonna eat my fish and chips. I don't know. My family is British by descent. I mean, our last name is very British, and our heritage is like 50 or like 80% British with some German, French, and Irish thrown in. No Italian or Spaniard. We dodged that. So when I make fun of the British, I'm also making fun of my own people. Even though I was raised in America. But that's the thing. No one in America is 100% American. Because that's just how America started. You know, and also, for going back to the...
Sorry. It's too good. I have to share it before I drink it all.
I won't steal any of your bubbles.
Okay, yes, I do. There might be one in there.
I'll tell you what, folks, that's bloody nice.
I told you, it was so good I had to share. I was like,
that's chai, right?
Yeah, it's
dragon. Is it dirty?
It's dragon.
You want some coffee with it?
No. I think I'm good. I'm gonna keep it like this.
Okay.
Spiced red dragon.
Oh, spiced red dragon is the best chai ever.
The vanilla chai I put with coffee.
Well, for vanilla chai, you just take chai and add vanilla extract and sugar.
Well, I know, but I'm saying, like, the spiced red dragon is more powerful. So if I add coffee to it, it's just two very strong flavors fighting.
That's fair. Then it would just get better.
But if it was the vanilla chai or just chai, then it would taste better with coffee. But yeah, sorry. I'll leave you alone now.
If I didn't run out of emotes, I would add one for just me eating. Because I don't want my fish to get cold, so I'm going to eat this real quick. So anyway, back to that Columbine pep assembly that they forced us to attend. Near the end of the presentation, they had us watch a whole bunch of anti-bullying whatevers. And then, near the end, they had us all close our eyes and imagine the most important person in our life. Like, the person that you cannot imagine your life without, that has changed your life for the better. And then they said, now imagine that person taken away from you, and you will never see them again. And I'm just, okay, excuse me. Bro, what the fuck? Like, yes, that is an effective way to explain death and how senseless the whole thing was. Because the whole thing is just a tragic situation. I'm not distracting from that. Columbine was a tragedy, not a travesty. That's different. A tragedy that does need to be explored and talked about. But then to make it all about bullying, and then imagine telling a room full of emotionally charged hormonal teenagers to actually come face to face with the concept of death right before sending us to lunch. What the fuck is wrong with you? Well, you can tell every part of the UK region is spread. Yeah, switching gears. Exospace, yeah. I'm amazed at how many accents are on one damn island. Like, America. Like, when it comes to the American brand of English, we have, like, maybe 4 accents that I know of. And you know how big America is. It's the size of Europe. They're trying to traumatize your taste buds. gonna traumatize your taste buds. I did not taste my lunch at all. I'm still baffled at the fact that they tried to make Columbine about bullying. It's like, no, that was cult activity. Not bullying. Peach tea. Anyone from outside of America, do your schools have like pep assemblies or whatnot? Where they like just gather the whole school into the auditorium or the gym to give like some sort of presentation? Like at my high school, we used to have a pep assembly like every other Friday, especially during the sports scene. So then we could like the school can gather, and then they have like wacky activities for the entire school to do. So so that's just an American thing. Because we would have assemblies for like other things too, for like Veterans Day. You line up outside. The only time I've actually had to line up outside my school is if the bus system ran early. And even then, that was like a miscommunication on both parties' parts. For us, class starts at 8, so we're already in. So if your ass ain't in a seat in your proper class at 8 a.m., you are late. So that's an American thing. It is so weird for me to think about a high school or junior high that doesn't have pep assemblies. Because it's just an American thing. That it's in all of our movies too. Like, I don't remember the context. Well, in one of the Spider-Man movies with Tom Holland, they had a pep assembly where, like, the high school or the classes were gathered in the auditorium to listen to a presentation of some kind. Now, there's a difference between a pep assembly and an assembly. A pep assembly usually has something to do with sports or any sort of extracurricular activity that they want like people to get hyped for. They're like, show up tonight to support your team and whatnot, blah de blah. We just saw it as an excuse to get out of class. But they also held competitions that was separated by each class, and the amount of competitions you won, each class was then like given rewards or like extra budgets, because each class had a budget that we could use to either pay for parties or go on field trips, because in my elementary, junior high, everyone went on field trips everywhere. But then in high school, they're like, you only like one field trip a year. And you only went on a field trip if you had extra money. But if your class raised money. Even though we were at a public school and funded by the government, we still needed to raise our own money for activities. Man, how do streamers, like, official streamers eat on stream? Because I'm seeing, some gamer streamers I have, they like, order Chipotle and their DoorDash is here, and they're like, oh, my DoorDash is here, let me go get it, and they come back in with food, and then they leave and it goes cold. Mm-hmm. We also had those, like, anti-drug rallies and whatnot. It wasn't really an assembly, but they did call in each class for, like, sex education and talking about, like, beware of AIDS and STDs and whatnot. I'm like, damn. What really got me were the drug ones. Because they would say things like, don't take drugs, kid, because you think it makes you look cool. Because it doesn't and whatnot. Only losers do drugs. And whatnot. And I'm like, when I reached adulthood, I'm like, no, man. Adults do drugs because life fucking sucks. And they just need to find a way to cope. Don't have sex. Because you will get pregnant and you will die. Literally, we had shit like that. Don't do drugs, kids. Here's what it does to you. 1 year of smoking does this to you. Ah! Your teeth will fall out. You'll have no hair. No one will like you. Your breath smells bad. I'm like, alright. Going to those pep rallies, those anti-drug rallies, made me have some sort of understanding of what the "I need a cigarette" or "I need a drink" phrase means. Because I was sitting there and I need an escape right now to get out of this godforsaken whatever. So literally in a rally about not doing drugs, I'm having the same mental response as someone would be like, I need a cigarette just to relax. I don't smoke personally because expensive. And honestly, if I did start smoking, my parents would kick me out. They're like, only idiots and losers take drugs and drink alcohol. I'm like, really? You really gotta say that to a room full of children of meth heads and alcoholics? That's why I think none of it landed for any of my classmates, because all their parents smoked. And we lived in a town that is, we don't have gang activity, but we definitely have a lot of meth heads. Yeah. It's insane. It was like, you're in a cowboy hick town and you're saying alcohol is for losers, yet what is every cowboy song talking about? Cold beer, blue jeans, mini skirts, honky tonk and yeehaw. Like, you're talking to the wrong audience. And if I ever have to explain to my kids drugs and whatnot, I would explain to them as it is. Drugs are what people use to cope with the fact that their life isn't what it's meant to be, what they thought it was supposed to be. Or if they just need a quick escape. Ain't got the patience, I need my medication type thing. But when you dig a part of yourself out to make room for something that doesn't give in return, it just eats more and more. It's easy to get addicted to something when you think it's helping, but it's actually creating the demand. It creates the need. So that's all you feel is the need for more. And no matter how much you feed it, you'll always just feel you need more. Just like sugar. Me personally, I listen to a lot of songs about drug abuse, like real drug abuse, to keep myself off drugs. Medicine by Hollywood Undead is one of their best songs. And I think, yeah, that's kind of helped me not feel like I have a need. I'm almost done with my food here, guys. Sometimes, like, some people take drugs because their friends pressure them into it. But again, it's all based on a need. A want for something you don't need. And that's just addictions in general. It's not just drugs. There's more kinds of addiction. Alright. I am gonna put my dishes away. So I will be right back. You know, if they really wanted to scare us kids away from doing drugs, they should have just showed us how expensive they are. That's the only reason I haven't done drugs or drink, and the only reason I'm not an alcoholic is because I can't afford alcohol. Man, I'm dead. Hey, Eagle. I just finished my lunch, so we're a bit behind schedule. Alright, I'm gonna save and then work on the next page. Yes, I did. I redrew my PNG a while ago. Oh, that's the page not finished. I did that during my 10-hour soiree, because that's just what I'm gonna call it. Okay, there we go. No, I just didn't draw the nose. You're not blind. I just didn't draw it. Cartoon logic. Voldemort. Shut up. Voldemort ain't the only motherfucker that doesn't have a nose, okay? I'm trying to think of a good, like, a sexy example. Lola the fish from Shark Tale doesn't have a nose. Of this hole now, before the darkness. I saw your latest video. Yeah, that one was very spur of the moment, very ranty. I had fun editing it. It's a very rare occasion when I actually have fun editing videos, but that was one of them. I just like that type of draw edit animation. Actually, that is the tip of his ear. So it would go like that. It's okay. Summer is coming, and I did a whole rant about it. Summer is coming, so I've been working a lot getting our family's garden up and running. And I don't mind being, like, in charge of that, because I was in charge of the garden last year, and I did fine. Like, I'm not stressed about that. I'm mostly stressed because, like, my brain wants to get into my summer schedule and say, yep, summer's here, let's go. Get into the summer schedule, let's get ready for art fight. It's like, listen, brain. It is May. Summer doesn't start till middle of June. It's till June. We're still in May. Calm down. Tomorrow is Dr. Seuss Day. today is George Lucas's birthday. One thing at a time. That, I'm trying to work on this comic to get it done, but I got Transformers brain rot, so... Yay! Any program for the summer? No, just gardening, yard work. But for summer, since I hate the heat, I switched to the night shift. For my, you know... where I just sleep days, work nights. But that's in summer. It ain't summer yet. Edel, you missed it earlier. We were talking about pep assemblies. You're lucky. Here it's even hot in midnight. I could never live in an area where the sun goes down but the temperature doesn't. It's boiling right now. Right now, here in my area, it's only 72 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know what that is in Celsius, but 72 is like room temperature here. That is nice weather. But anything 80 and above, I just absolutely hate it. But I got some solidarity, because my dad's the same. We both hate the heat. And my mom and my sister are like, both like, yeah, it's whatever. Forget to wear sunscreen. It's no big deal. Just, how are you not ripping your skin off right now? Playable game, I'll say. Say some character names who would win in a fight. My god, this keyboard. I didn't even see. Oh yeah, say some characters. Yeah. There is discussion to be had in those. Now, do I lose the round automatically if I don't know who the character is or what their stats are? Because I don't watch, I watch like 5 I only watch like 5 shows. Okay, Sans versus Freddy from FNAF. Okay, I'm assuming you mean FNAF 1. Sans, all the way. I hate when people, like, say, oh, Freddy would totally win in a fight against Sans. It's like, bro, in what continuity? Like, if you're talking, like, Freddy from FNAF World, there might be a discussion there, because FNAF World, they all have power-ups and, you know, special abilities and whatnot. But, like, just in the first game, Sans all the way. He's got the Gaster Blaster, and even still, Freddy, within the rules of their own lore, Freddy would not fight Sans, because A, Sans is not a night guard, B, he's not, you know, an Afton, and Sans wouldn't want to fight Freddy anyway, because he's Sans. But if they were to, you know, square up, hussy, go toe-to-toe, Sans all the way. Even in his non-genocide route powers. Just, like, main series Sans. Because, like, if in the event you do actually fight Sans, there's that one song that plays, Sans would win. Because what's Freddy gonna do? Grab him and try to stuff him in a suit that Sans could automatically just teleport from? Okay, Hyper God mode versus Zamasu. Okay, I don't know who Zamasu is. So, do we, am I disqualified for that round? From Dragon Ball? I don't watch Dragon Ball, but I do know a bit about Dragon Ball. Is Zamasu the cat-looking guy? Because then, yeah, I'd say Zamasu wins. Just because of the rules of anime. If you take any American show character and put them up against an anime character's going to win because anime gives 0 fucks. Oh, I don't watch Dragon Ball. I watch Full Metal Alchemist. And Bleach. God, you remember Bleach? Those were the days. Okay, Goku versus... I'm assuming Genocide route. Nightmare Mode Sans. Goku, that's what I'm... Again, you take an American character versus anime. Anime is going to win 99% of the time. I'm doing good, Phoenix. Yeah, we're doing a little game where Eagle will name 2 characters and we have to argue who would win. I'm a little behind in the game because I don't watch a lot of anime. Alien versus Goku. Do you mean Alien from like the Xenomorph from the... Oh, Alien X. From Ben 10? So, I'm sorry. Was that his name? Was it Alien X? Yeah, from Ben 10. What does Alien X do again? I only watched Ben 10 Omniverse, and I didn't finish the show, but I really liked Ben 10 Omniverse. Destroy a planet with his finger. Okay, I guess that's one American one American character that could beat an anime character. But here's the thing, a lot of people say, oh yeah, in a fight, blah character would win, but let's think about conceivably. Conceivably, if these 2 characters were to face off, would Alien X risk destroying a universe fighting Goku or whoever? Because Goku would never turn down a fight because he's goddamn Goku. But Alien X is actually also Ben, so would Ben want to fight Goku or feel the need to fight Goku in his Alien X form? Or would Ben just win by talking it out? And say, hey man, why don't we talk about this over a burger? And then Goku would like, make it 20 and you got a deal. It's almost, well, yeah, he would never use it. It's a last resort type thing. Bendy versus Fell Sands. Now, Canon Bendy is just a ink monster that wanders the halls. But then in his like demon form, he just bulldozes his way through Henry. Like, Henry can outrun Bendy. And Henry's a 50-year-old man. Let's keep that into consideration. Underfell Sands still has, his fight. So I'm going to say Sands because if a 50-year-old man can outrun your most powerful demon form, I'm going to give it to someone else. Because the way Bendy was defeated was playing a tape. It wasn't a tape, but that said the end on it. Yeah, the reel. But aside from that, when it comes to speed, I think Demon Bendy could, like, in his, like, full demon form, could outlast Underfell Sands, because he could just, like, zoom around him and whatnot. But if Underfell Sands were to give a hit... No, because he's ink, so he'll just regenerate. So, Bendy. Because he has that demon form, Bendy would win against Sands. I take that back. Because he's ink, it's hard to kill him. You can't kill him because he doesn't have a soul. So Underfell Sands would have nothing to grab onto because Bendy doesn't have a soul. See? This is when useless knowledge of game lore is necessary. C-Ram turret versus Papyrus. What's a C-Ram turret? I'm assuming just a regular turret versus Papyrus. If Papyrus knew where it was, he'd probably move it. But if you, like, put it in some sort of trap, I don't just, I'm gonna have to throw in the towel with that one because I don't know the stats of this this turret. Like, if this turret, as most turrets are based on movement, so then Sands would be in a bit of trouble because he would just need to move and the cameras could see him. But if this turret is also registering on heat, cannot be moved. Okay. But is its camera based on movement? Because if it was based on heat, I think they would, Papyrus would have a better chance against it. But he's a monster. He's not an actual skeleton. He's a monster, so he has some sort of heat signature, right? Saitama. Alright, what kind of question is that, Exo? You're at Saitama versus Sand. What kind of question is that? Really? Honestly, I don't think those two would even fight each other because there's no point. They would just get bored. Within the rules of their character, they wouldn't fight because they would just be bored. But if you, like, said, oh, if you actually pit them against each other, I'm pretty sure Saitama... Actually, Sans is very good at dodging. So, Saitama could kill him in one punch, but he'd have to catch Sans first. And Sans can teleport. Now, Saitama does have the very superhuman ability to keep up with people. Like, he could keep up with, Supersonic, who had supersonic speed. He even punched him in the balls that one time, which was absolutely hilarious. Did we do this serious table flip? Yeah, it needs to connect first. All Sans would need to do is dodge until Saitama either got bored or got so pissed off that he couldn't. That he's just throwing punches wildly. Now, I haven't finished One Punch Man. I watched season 1. So I don't know what the upper limits of Saitama's power is. But also, Sans doesn't have that great of stamina. Saitama does. Saitama could do this all day. Sans probably couldn't. Which is why he has that most powerful move, the one-hit kill, because he just does not have the energy to keep up with a fight. All Saitama would have, you know... Sure, Sans could dodge Saitama's punch, but Sans would have to keep that up for a long time. Teleport away. To catch his breath. Yeah. There's that too. But, and it's been a while since I've like engaged with the Undertale fandom. Does Sans can Sans only teleport places he knows or within a certain range? Because if he could just teleport anywhere, he could teleport to the surface. And then the whole point of the game would be nil. So is there range on his teleporting? Alrighty. Goodbye, Eagle. Hello, CO. Yeah, 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 10-kilometer run every single day. No, thank you. You can keep your godly powers to yourself. I'll just sit on the couch with my heart problems. I wonder if the One Punch workout would actually cure my heart palpitations. Or if I would just kill myself in the process. No, I like my hair too much. I ain't going bald. Hello, Waffles. Welcome to the stream. We did just finish the character versus game, but since Edo left, I think that's done. Unless someone else wants to carry it. Now we're talking about One Punch Man. Because why the hell not? I mean, I wouldn't mind... I wouldn't want to go bald. Like, shaven completely. Like, skinhead bald. I wouldn't never do that. But I wouldn't mind. Like, I had thought about buzzing my head for summer. Just so it's one less thing to deal with. And so I could, maintain my scalp health. But if I buzz my head for summer, then I risk sunburn. Because I'm a white girl. I'm doing a lot better now, Waffles. Just beat it like that was your money. Not for a long time. I'd cry if I lost my hair. Yeah, like, I had, like, a one thought, like, that was like, oh, I could buzz my head for summer so I don't have to deal with washing it and whatnot. But then I was like, but then I remembered, my hair takes a long time to grow back. So if I did buzz my hair for the summer, it wouldn't be back to its regular length for fall. And I color my hair in fall to match my Sona. So it's just, oh no. we're just gonna have to, exclude Goku or any Dragon Ball character from these character versus challenges because there's no competing. There's no competing with Kamehameha. Let's be honest, guys. No one can defeat that. But Supersonic versus Goku, probably Goku. I've never even seen a Dragon Ball whatever. But I do know he is ridiculously powerful. Give him enough food, that man is punch an asteroid. It's nifty. You're kind of like Eladrin from the Seasons vibe, aren't you? Not sure what you're talking about, Venus. Now, Nifty versus Goku. I might have to give it to Nifty. Completely different Nifty. Okay, give me any character. Okay, let's just see. Let's see. Okay. Din Djarin, the Mandalorian. There. He's got some pretty good stats all by himself. You know, he's got the Beskar, he's got training. You know, this is Din Djarin without Grogu. Or a type of L's way to change their heritages. Oh, that's what you're talking about. You know, it's funny. I'm working on a piece recently that shows Rune through the seasons. It's gonna be really fun. Peach tea. Superman versus Omni-Man. Huh. Look what they need to do to mimic a fraction of my power. Which Superman, though? Because there are several different continuities we can pull from. Because in, like, the games and comics, it gets absolutely ridiculous. Like, in the old movies, he turned back time by shifting the rotation of the Earth, and he brought Lois back from the dead. But then in another comic, Joker tricked him into killing Lois. You would see his scar from this side. And he couldn't bring her back, so then he killed the Joker. So, like, which version of Superman are we going off of? Because then there's also the DCU movie, Superman. You know, Superman, that has his own special powers. Okay, cross-continuity Superman. There's a lot of variables to deal with. I'm used to drawing on paper. Any tips for someone who's trying to get into digital art? Okay. A good starting program just to get used to digital art is, as much as it is a meme, any free program. Hold on, I actually need to think about this, Waffles. How I got started with MS Paint and a mouse. That's how I started with digital art. So then I just learned the different tips and tricks of, like, what Control-Z, the beauty that was Control-Z, in that you can copy-paste and flip and rotate and, like, use any color that you can think of. And then if you want to work with a free program, this program that I'm using is called Medibang Paint Pro. It is 100% free, and it does everything that Paint Tool Sai does, but in dark mode. So it's perfect. And it's very straightforward. I have mine set up in a very specific way, but here you can learn, like, layers, changing opacities, moving different colors, utilizing brushes to get different textures. Like, for this page here, all I really did for the texture, for like the ground and the sky, was use the airbrush and blur tool. That's all I did. And it's just erase, it's like, you like get a little bit of the airbrush tool, switch colors, erase it a little bit, blur tool to make it look softer. Well, now I know that. It's a lot of trial and error, because my style is very much cartoony. So it depends on what you're aiming for. Like, if you're aiming for anime, definitely learn how to cel shade, which I just do not do. And also, like, half of my artistic rendering is just utilizing clipping masks and changing the blending settings on the layer. Now, you'll just have... This is a lot of futzing. Really, to get into digital art, find a program that is free, so there's no, like, long-term commitment, because what if you don't like it? Because some people like Fire Alpaca, some people prefer Krita. I personally despise Krita and GIMP. I hate them both. They just don't work for me, at least when I was trying them. I like Medibang, because it does everything that I want it to do, and it's simple. There's no extra bells and whistles. It does have a manga setting, but I'm not sure how to work with that. So I'm just in the plain illustration settings when I work on my comics, because I know what it is and how to deal with it. Alright, you know what? I should color their eyes. So, like, my number one tip for getting into digital art is don't be afraid of just screwing around. Because I have been doing digital art for a good... Oh god, how many years? A long time, because I don't want to think about the math. And don't be afraid to use tools. Because with digital art, a lot of traditional artists, no shade, like, hate digital art because they say, oh, that's cheating because the computer's doing it for you. The hell it is. The only difference between me drawing traditionally and digitally is that with digital art, it's a lot easier to erase my mistakes, and I don't have to rely on my limited wallet to afford different colors. With digital art, it's all there. Now, yeah, that's a no shit situation here. Like, a no duh. And if you ever get stuck, there's also, like, a bajillion million tutorials online on how to do everything. Now, a lot of people use Procreate and Clip Studio Paint because they use Apple products. I don't use Apple products. Personally, I'd rather not. I wouldn't touch an Apple product with a 9.5-foot pole. Yeah, get used to use layers as you can easily edit various details. Yep, exactly. Like, when it comes to coloring, I have all these different characters on different layers, so I can keep their colors separate. It's all about compartmentalization. If you can handle compartmentalization, like, because there's also folders, which I absolutely love, because it looks like layer hell when I'm scrolling through all of these. But if I put just my character colors on separate layers and in a certain folder, they're all there, and it scrunches everything down. Like, I have my character lines and my background lines on different layers. Okay, and Ivy Whisper. That was my problem with the profile. It was like 30 layers. I used to be a layer hell citizen as well, but then I figured out folders. Yeah, their drawings are like 2. You can get away with not using a layer, as many layers with digital art, but it's digital art, and the layers are there for a reason, so you might as well as utilize it. And don't get me wrong, you can use layers in traditional art as well. It's a little bit more complicated, but you can do it. But in digital art, it's just simpler. Now, traditional art is easier in some aspects. As, I'm drawing on a graphics tablet that doesn't have on a drawing tablet that doesn't have a screen. So there's that, like, I'm not looking at my hands drawing, I'm looking at the screen. So when I try to draw on my tablet that has a screen and whatnot, it doesn't feel like I'm drawing on paper, so my movements are a lot more stiff. Like, when I'm drawing on paper, my movements are a lot more loose, relaxed, and, you know, I have full mobility. It's taken me a long time for my computer digital art to look similar to my traditional art. Or at least how it used to be. I don't draw traditionally as much anymore. Like, I do have a sketchbook that I'll sketch certain ideas in and then transfer it digitally to, like, render it and whatnot, because I'm left-handed, so no matter how I draw, I always have graphite smears all down my arm. Yeah. Graphics display tablets are much more expensive, but it's so helpful. It'll be the same thing as traditional. And they use them into the industry as well. They got those huge graphic display tablets, which I used to have. But yes, they were so goddamn expensive. And when they started going wrong, they died. Their mileage was, you know, you got like 5 years out of them before they died. I haven't sucked up any bubbles yet. This is bubble tea. Where are my bubbles? Okay, am I done with this layer? He's got that, these. Oh! I forgot about Hawk Star. Phone, wallet, keys. Part of digital art as well is getting into the habit of doing checklists. Like, all right, did I finish all this? Before I merge my layers, did I do all this correctly? Because going back and fixing it is going to be a nightmare. Well, you can have your mango flavors, whatever. Waffles, I personally do not like mango. So, more for you. Also, with digital art, night scenes are so much easier than traditional. Holy shit, I remember drawing Warriors fan art when I was 12, trying to draw a scene at night. And I'm like, how do I make it look like it's at night without just drawing the sky purple? How do I make it look like they're in the dark? So I would like take a purple crayon, and try to lightly smear it over my pencil work. But then it would get too dark in certain areas, and I try to scratch it off their eyes to make it look like their eyes were glowing. It was a lot of heartache. I was like, alright, let me just get a marker to color the eyes back in. But of course, marker doesn't work over crayon because wax, and I'm just, god damn it! Yeah, so for digital art, night scenes are so much easier. You just add a multiply layer with purple over it. That's all you do. That's what I did here to make it look like it was on the shadow side of the mountain. Set a multiply layer. Make it blue. Lower the opacity. Boom. So much simpler. Alright, these are done. What also helps when I'm coloring characters, especially detailed characters like these cats, I keep each of their colors on a separate layer. Like, their whites are usually on the bottom, then their stripes are on a different layer, and then their nose and mouth are on a separate layer. The eye colors are are not even in the character color folder. They're on a completely separate folder, because I keep my character's eyes on top of the shading and lighting, because I want them to look like they're glowing at all times. You know, like cat eyes do. Even though cat eyes glow green, but shh. Cartoons. We can do what we want. Especially like how his back is broken in this scene. Shh. We don't have to shh. Adding shading within the line where it's no longer visible. Then I redo then the shading is no longer visible. I'm just going to the loop until I just use a graphite smudge. Traditionally, yeah. God, I haven't actually seriously picked up traditional art in such a long time. The most recent I've done traditional art is when I was working on, like, field sketches for some maps. For my graphic novel. And that was because I was just trying to get the vibe of the land. But then when I switched it over to digital, I added more details, like proper shading, made it more coherent, darker line art. By the by, how are you recovering from after the bad? I freaking cried, man. I'm actually happy with the ending. I know a lot of fans are like, but they didn't answer all the questions that we had. Well, boo-hoo. That was kind of the point. You know, people were upset that, like, oh, Omega's character, you know, with her being possibly force sensitive. She wasn't force sensitive. She was just compatible with metachlorians. They didn't answer all our questions. Well, they weren't supposed to, because that was the whole point. It was doomed to fail from the start. We know Hemlock did not succeed in unlocking her genetic code because of the Mandalorian. we knew Bad Batch, we knew he was going to fail in Bad Batch because they were still doing the same thing in Mandalorian 15 years later. Now, we can make the argument that Hemlock pioneered the research, but then it was all destroyed. So it ended up not mattering anyway, and that's the point. No matter what the Empire tries to do to ensure it's, that it lasts, is a power eternal, it always fails, because it is impossible to maintain that kind of power for any amount of time. It's a useless endeavor. It's almost as if they're the bad guys. Anyway, have a look. People were bitching about it online. I'm just, will you just get over yourself? Seriously. I hope they have Omega meets Boba Fett in an episode of Mandalorian or something. I need to see an interaction between the two. I absolutely love that. And since they ended it with Omega joining the rebellion as a pilot, there is a possibility she could appear in Ahsoka. Or something like that. It was a happy ending in Star Wars. We hardly ever get happy endings in Star Wars. So I was surprised. The show that destroyed me the most emotionally ended with a beautiful hug. Yeah, let us have our happy endings, damn it. Now, I thought the Shadow Clone X2, I thought that was tech. I'll admit, I was one of those people. I thought the operative was tech the whole time. And then it ended up not being tech, and he just died. And then it was never, brought up that maybe tech was blah-de-blah. There was so much evidence that he could have been tech. There was so much evidence! But it ended up not mattering, because as far as the batch was concerned, Tech was dead. So even if it was him in there, there was nothing left of him. So there was no saving him, so ergo, he was dead. So I like that. You can still theorize that it was Tech in there somewhere, but he's dead now. So it didn't matter. He sacrificed himself so that they could get away. I tell you what, I was so not convinced that he was dead for the longest time because of Echo and, and the Winter Soldier and, no body, no death type mentality. But yeah, for all sense of the word, he was dead. Hey, at least we got a Crosshair redemption arc, man. I don't care. Crosshair was redeemed. My boy Crosshair is back. Sure, he lost a hand, but he's doing okay. Half of the artwork was black and white, and the other side color. I made it too colorful. The saturation is... Oh, not visible. What do I do? Oh, no. Okay. To tone down saturation... how do you fix that? Okay. Let me see if I can help you. Alright, if you got color that's way too damn saturated. To tone down the saturation, to make it more, Wait, you made it too colorful. The saturated zone is now not visible. I'm not sure how to help you, like, without seeing the piece. But if you feel like the colors are too saturated, I feel like implementing some shading, some opposite value shading might help. Like, using this blue to shade the pink a little bit. Like, tone it down a little bit. Just a touch. I don't know, I'm not sure how I can help you without seeing the situation, or like what medium are you using? Because if you're using like paint, you can mix some other tones and like give it a light wash, like mix. But if you're using like pencils or pastels, like if you're using pastels, I'm sorry, I can't help you. I don't know how to use pastels, but if you're like using like pencils or paints, you can, depending on the paint too, like mix a color that's of a contrasting or of a similar darker or lighter hue, and then mix it with water until it's like very thin, and then give that area a light wash. So you just lightly brush over it. So then it gives then the rest of the other colors that tone. So it doesn't make them, it doesn't desaturate them, but it does make them less eye bleeding and more cohesive altogether, if that makes sense. I don't know what I'm talking about. Everything I know about painting, I learned from Holly Brown. I didn't actually learn it in school. It's unclear. It's even before the rebellion is happening, but it seems like it's after the events of Star Wars Rebel. See, I'm not yeah, because Rebels was before the movies. But then again, Hunter grew old on a tropical paradise. He wasn't on a desert planet like Rex was. This stream is pretty quiet. You should see me when I'm actually losing my goddamn mind about things. There was like a few streams ago, I don't know if you were there, Phoenix, but I lost my damn mind streaming about Five Nights at Freddy's. So I had a big brain realization about the lore. And I was like, oh my god! Yes, and Rex was a Generation 1. Hunter is canonically a lot younger than Rex. But given Omega's age, and that she's basically... that Omega is only slightly younger than Hera, I think she joined the Rebellion somewhere around Rebels, or at least near the end of Rebels, because they were calling it, they sent out that transmission asking for more pilots. So that's my theory. I think I was there later that stream. Yeah, that was my 10-hour stream. So yeah, that was a while ago, actually. Yeah, that was a while ago. It's just fun to ask people. What would be your final meal? If I'm on death row, and they're asking me what my final meal would be, honestly, I don't care what it is, as long as I've made it with my family. As long as it's a home-cooked meal that my family and I made together, I'd like that to be the last meal I ever have. A home-cooked meal that we made and argued about the seasonings together and how I think the soup recipe needs more water and cream to make it a natural soup. Well, my dad wants more stew because he doesn't like soup, you know. But I know that's not really the question. Is people say, what would your final meal be? And it's kind of like, assume you're on death row and they're like, go get it for you. So I would just be like, just get me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, man. I really don't care. But, like, if I knew it was my last day on Earth and I got the chance to eat whatever, it would be a home-cooked meal with my family. Probably, like, spaghetti or something. Mashed potatoes, chicken breast, street sole, salty cheese, red wine. Man, you. Meanwhile, Phoenix over here is not like, all right, here's what we done. I'm like, oh, it doesn't matter what the meal is, as long as it was made with love and home cooked. Meanwhile, Phoenix over here would be like, oh, no, give me a mashed potato, chicken breast, schnitzel, salty cheese, fresh wine. Yeah, non-alcoholic wine, macaroni and cheese dessert with strawberries on the side, some chocolate. Man, you had that off rip. Two kinds of people. Stuff from my childhood I've seen. Authentic ramen. Like, real, authentic, traditional Japanese ramen? Or, like, home-cooked ramen? Because if you go to Japan and eat ramen, that ramen you're eating is relatively new to their culture. That's not traditional Japanese ramen. Traditional Japanese ramen is actually quite bitter and quite bland. And served cold. I watched a video on Tasting History about traditional Japanese ramen. It was very interesting. Also, that I could never be a samurai, because if someone puts food in front of me, I'm gonna eat it, damn it. I don't care about the show or the presentation. Yeah, just watch Max Miller's Tasting History. He's got his whole channel is talking about food. Running towards the wall, swinging from your blind side. You don't know me at all. I've actually tried a few of his recipes from Tasting History. They were really good. You know, the good recipes. Watched from him was the Hindenburg menu. I don't think I've watched that video yet. It's on my list, though. Speaking of samurais, can't wait for the second season of Blue Eyed Samurai. I heard it was really... I heard Blue Eyed Samurai was really good. I haven't seen it yet, because I'm not really much of an anime person. But given that it's kind of like, you know, it's not like other anime, I might give it a try. At least try to find a place to watch it. Because my 5 favorite anime of all time is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, Madoka Magica, Black Lagoon. Bleach is there, but that's mostly just for nostalgia. And let's see, what's one more? I'd say Code Geass, but I didn't finish it. Or like One Punch. Code Geass or One Punch Man. But I haven't finished either of them, and I know I liked them. So they're on my list too. So, I stopped watching Bleach after they defeated Aizen. No, I didn't. I watched the, were they the Arankars? Who are the people that had, like, the special powers and whatnot? It was when Ichigo was, like, getting ready to graduate. Or whatnot. And then those people had, like, the enchanted items. I don't know what the fuck it's called. It's been a while since I watched the show. Anyway, I watched that and just went, okay. They should have stopped with Aizen. Also, I want... Okay, my chat is working. I almost forgot. What I mean with authentic is like you may find Japanese. Yeah, go to the ramen restaurant. Yeah, I've seen. I know what you mean. Okay, yeah, I know those. Those look amazing. I would love to try those. Hello, Snowy Prince. Not the bounce. Yeah, but I also did watch the one about the bounce, but that was a filler episode before they defeated Aizen. No, the Arankars... No, those were the Espada. Who are the Arankars? Man, it's been so long since I've seen Bleach. Has anyone watched the anime Wolf's Rain? As in R-A-I-N? That show, that anime, not only kicked me in the face, but then it proceeded to kick me, punch me, shoot me, and stab me when I was down. That anime fucking destroyed me. And it had no business being that depressing. But it was about wolves, so I watched it, and now it is everyone's problem. I have a lot to talk about with my therapist. The Arankars were a species of the Espada. Oh, right. I was thinking, like, no, not the Espadas. Those were the Hollows. But yeah, okay. The Arankars were part of the Espada. Okay. God, there were so many, like, random villains that they had to fight in Bleach. Okay, I'll have to leave. I have a big test tomorrow. But I'll be... Goodbye from the Netherlands. See ya. Good luck on your exams. I wish you well. Fullbringers, thank you. Yes, that sounds familiar. What the fuck was that arc? And then oh, let's have the hoedown smackdown with all the main baddies facing off against the, off our favorite characters after years of not seeing them, and then half of the fights are either way longer than they needed to be, or 3 seconds long. Like, okay, I'll go out and say it. Kenpachi Zaraki is one of my favorite captain. He's honestly my favorite captain. And, like, the big guy was like, oh, so this is what power is. Oh, I'm so powerful, and I have all the... And I have all the strength, and no one could stand up against me. How can you think to fight me? And then Zaraki just fucking kills him one shot. He's like, didn't you realize I wasn't paying attention? Well, one thing that I absolutely hate about Bleach, and anime in general, they talk about how epic the fights are, but then the fights are literally just them standing around explaining how their power works. And I don't care. Just give me the smackdown. I don't care about how your power works. And if you want to have let's explain the world building, make it make sense? Just, oh my god, I was watching a video that talked about, like, the epic fight between Byakuya and, whatever seat, Espada. And the fight was mostly just them staring at each other. Talking about their teleportation speeds. And not fighting. Just, like, jumping around each other. Now, I know, like, in feudal Japan, most of the samurai fights weren't them actually fighting. They were just boasting about how skilled they were. So I guess it's fine in that regard. But they were Shinigami. They're soul reapers. They're not samurai. So why are they standing around boasting? They have superpowers. It's not like in Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, where, sure, each individual had their own form of, I almost said bending, of alchemy, but the base rules of alchemy were all the same. So we could see someone doing, it's like, wow, that's a very interesting form of alchemy, but we know the base of all alchemy is on equivalent exchange. To obtain something of equal value must be given up, and, you all have your different circles and whatnot, But then they brought up that Roy has fire alchemy, which is very powerful, except when it's raining. But then they don't stop to explain why his power doesn't work when it's raining. It only doesn't work because his gloves get wet and he uses the fibers to create a spark. They don't stop to explain it. They show it. Show me. Don't tell me. Give me action. Give me exposition in form of action. Don't stand around just talking about how cool your power is. Show me how fucking cool your power is. Because that's what gets me. In Bleach, the powers were cool. But they spent 99.9% of the fight just talking about how cool they were and how they had all these powers and whatnot and how you can't hold... Anyway. Deep breaths. Pause for drink. Oh my god. To be fair, that wasn't the majority of Bleach. But that's just what stuck in my head, like what stood out to me, and it was so annoying. I think my favorite character gotta be Kazuki because of his dialogue always gets a laugh out of me. Kaizuki. Literachi runs names together. Oh, him, old hat and clocks. Yeah. It's like, wait a minute. My favorite character was Renji. I forgot to say, when is the next stream? Tuesday at 11 o'clock. At 11 a.m. Standard Pacific Time. That's usually when I stream. Give or take a few minutes. Today I was late. Yep. Okay, I'm gonna color this bit because it's behind all these other layers. Ugh. Out my chest. I had the biggest stupid crush on Renji when I first watched the show. It's to the point where every time I hear his voice, even, I hear his voice, I get unreasonably happy. Which is kind of awkward because Wally Wagner also voices a character in Earth's Mightiest Heroes. He voices Hank Pym's Ant-Man. So whenever I hear his voice, I go, eee! He's so cute! It's like, that's not... but... Ant-Man from Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, is a great character as well. I love his character. But it also helps that he's voiced by... Is his name Wally Wagner? I'm forgetting. I ain't judging. Love to hear. Yeah, here's a embarrassing thing that I will admit. I love Joshua. Yeah, oh yeah, Liam O'Brien is one of those voices too. Every time I hear him, I go, eee, it's Liam! He voices Lieutenant List in Rebels, and it's not fair because List is so freaking cute. It's not fair how cute Lieutenant List is. It's just not fair. The single pixel. Yeah, he was in Bad Batch a few times. I was just, every time I hear his voice, I go, ee! Squealing like a little fangirl. But there's one voice actor that every time I hear him, I just melt. And that's only when he uses a very specific voice. And that is Corey Burton. Whenever I hear Corey Burton's voice in any cartoon, I just melt for that character. He voiced Megatron in Transformers Animated. He was also Malware in Ben 10 Omniverse. It's funny because he also voiced Ratchet in TFA, and I think he's adorable. But when he uses his Megatron voice, or any like low, gravelly version of that, I just melt because it's so smooth. Yes, I'm a hopeless fangirl. Sue me. Is it the same color? You gotta type, it's plain adorable. Shut up. No, I don't have a type. No, what are you talking about? I totally do not have a type for characters with low and gravelly voices. Like, I don't have a crush on Alex Brightman. Shut up. I don't. But, oh my god. His performance of Adam and Fizzarolli are just, mwah. RoboFizz's voice is so sexy. And, I totally did not have a ridiculous, did not and do not still have a ridiculously huge crush on Ultron from Age of Ultron, voiced by James Spader with that robotic filter on his voice. Totally do not have the hots for that. Smash. Yeah, say what you will about the movie Age of Ultron, that Ultron was drop dead sexy. Like, I need to go to church sexy. Even though I'm Jewish, I don't go to church. Come to confess your sins. It's like, to you? Oh, I could talk all day. It's like, I don't know how much time you got. I feel like this actually should be darker because it's setting up to something darker. But also, it should be darker and probably cooler. Because it's not a warm feeling. Smash low voices are simply just hot. They really are. TFA Megatron, and it's not just his voice. TFA Megatron, honestly, is the sexiest robot I've ever seen. And he's totally not what I'm totally not hyper-focusing on Transformers, specifically Megatron at this point. No, what are you talking about? I also really like David Kay's Megatron, but David Kay's Megatron is honestly just so fucking funny. He's more funny than hot. And it's a problem. He's so funny. I especially loved him in Beast Wars and Armada. Oh my god. Pure comedy. Ain't judging, I'll be a hypocrite if I did. On the Alex Brightman thing, my bucket list is to make a performance of the whole being dead thing. But my man is... man, that's killing my throat. Yeah. It's funny because I also really like Serpentious, who's voiced by Alex Brightman. I guess that's all. No, that's... I had a different reason, but when I was a kid, like, right now, I am a Megatron girl. I'm a Megatron whore through and through. As a teenager, as an adult. But when I was younger, like, middle school, junior high, when did the first movie come out? The second movie, actually. I had the biggest... most embarrassing crush on Optimus Prime. And that's not even... I'm not even embarrassed about it, because Peter Cullen's Optimus in the Michael Bay movies, while I absolutely hate the Michael Bay movies, that Optimus Prime's voice is, a certain way. Same with in Prime. Transformers Prime Optimus has just, his voice is a certain way. Especially in Russian. Prime, have you seen that video where someone's like Optimus, like, Russian dub Optimus Prime is kinda... Yep. And also, you know, he's got this dad vibe that is really attractive. He basically is the Autobots' dad. And he's, you know, kind and soft-spoken. In Prime, he smiles that one time at Raph, and it was the cutest thing ever. And I used to also have the biggest crush on Optimus from Transformers Animated, but that was mostly because he was a bad bitch. Don't take it personally. Primes don't party. Here's the thing. She says primes don't party, but that's just another way of saying that Optimus is an introvert and doesn't like the loud party scene. Even when we see him in Rescue Bots, because the Rescue Bots in Prime Universe are connected, in Rescue Bots, Prime is hanging out with them, and he just, you know, simply watches and claps. But have you seen that clip where Blades is going, "Yay, Cody!" and he's clapping his hands and Optimus just goes... It's so cute! Ah! No, my favorite Optimus is obviously TFA, but close second would probably either be Armada or Beast Wars Optimus. And the reason why they're so close is because they have the same voice actor, and they're basically written the same. But they are slightly different. I think in Beast Wars he's a lot more sassy, and I need my Optimus to either be the calm, collected, warm-hearted dad, or a sarcastic bitch that just will destroy you with his words. I love in TFA the game that doesn't remember Optimus. That is so good though, because then when Megatron does remember Optimus's name, it's like so memorable. So you can remember my name. Also, it is just, I can't tell you the amount of power that surged through me. I ascended in the finale when Megatron was like, "You're a persistent little Autobot," and Optimus, "My name is Optimus Prime," it says, "Ah!" Kicking my legs, squealing. That was such a good, hard moment. That was the best moment in the entire finale. It's just, that's such a good delivery of the line, "My name is Optimus Prime," because he said it to Starscream in the first episode. When he kept calling them puny Autobot, he said, "My name is Optimus Prime, and I would lay down my life before I give you the Allspark." It's like, he's so... The TFA Optimus is my favorite. Let's just get that out of the way. He is my favorite. Like, Starscream... Yeah, that's why I love voice acting. Yep. It kind of reminds me of that moment in Tron Uprising. When... If you haven't seen Tron Uprising, watch it. It's on Disney+. It is an amazing show. I'm gonna spoil it a little bit. So here's your warning. Tron Uprising is a show in the Tron universe that takes place after the movie, but just before Legacy. It's a prequel to Legacy. And it's about this... It's kind of like in the middle of Legacy. Tron has gone missing. And Clue is slowly taking over the grid. And it focuses on this one program named Beck, voiced by Elijah Wood. What a cutie. And he decides that something needs to be done about Q's takeover, so he dons the insignia of Tron to inspire hope in others to stand up against Clue and, yeah, his regime. I'm certain I've seen that. It's so good. There's a moment in the first episode where he said, where, like, the bad guy's like, who are you? And he said, I told you I'm Tron. But he doesn't, he says, I'm Tron. It's kind of, like, insecure. But later in an episode, when he's fighting the bad guy and he's winning and he's inspiring hope in people and he fully steps into the mantle. He says, I'm Tron. And it's so good. I'm butchering it because it's been a while since I've seen that episode. But when he said, I'm Tron in that scene, he's like, yes, you are Tron. You've taken up the mantle and everyone believes Tron lives. And it's, So whenever a villain either doesn't remember the main protagonist's name, I absolutely love it. Because then when they do remember it, it's like, ooh, shit's about to go down. And it's also just funny, because Megatron in every other continuity is like, Optimus, pay attention to me! But in this one, he's like, what's an Optimus? He says Autobot like it's a derogatory slur. It's like, you're a persistent little Autobot. I hate persistence. Give me a moment to breathe. There's also a similar moment like that in Transformers Cyberverse, where Megatron remembers Bumblebee's name. He's like, I remember you. You were a little scout. Shame you'll never live to become a hero. It's like, Ooh. Good stuff. Wait, can we bring back condescending villains? Can we please bring back bad bitch, condescending villains that don't give a shit about the main protagonists, but then when they've been thwarted one too many times, the villain just goes full ape shit and goes berserk on the main heroes, but by that point the main heroes have stepped into their role, have come into their own, and are now confident in their own powers, so they're just calmly taking every hit that villain is throwing at them. And they shout their name back at the main villain, because now they are forced to recognize who they are! It's just, that is my bread and butter. Funny that we remember the sass of TF. I remember you not having the best opinion of TFPRC. Here's the thing. I have problems with TFPRC for different reasons than just the sass. Like, I liked her sass. She's like, you're a human, Jack. Can you build me a small intestine? That was hilarious. I love it. Applause. But I don't like TFPRC. At least I have problems with her character, and it's just me being petty. Hold on, I'm trying to burp. My biggest problem with RC, and this is something that I think she eventually gets over, but it's never brought up again that she realized she was wrong. Yeah, I ain't angry. Yeah, I'm chill. We chillin'. But my biggest problem with RC is in the episode where Jack's mom is introduced into the fray, and RC has the audacity to say the line, "I've been protecting Jack longer than she has, yet she has the audacity to tell me how to do my job." And I'm like, excuse me? RC? Jack's mom has been protecting Jack a lot longer than you've known him. Sure, she wasn't protecting him from Decepticons, but she's his mother. She's been protecting Jack in ways RC never could. So it's just, that was the biggest issue I had. And that's just a pet peeve of mine. That she just triggered me when she said that Jack's mom doesn't know how to protect Jack. June. That was her name. That June didn't know how to protect Jack. And I'm like, she's a single mother that basically raised him, from a child after her husband abandoned her. And I'm assuming baby Jack, but it might be, young child Jack. We don't know when the dad left. But still, it was like, ooh. But other than that, I really don't have that bit of a problem with TFPRC. She's just kind of there for me. Also, I don't mind the character, but the fact that they also made her RC kind of bugged me a little bit, because I had just come off of TFA, and that RC is completely different. But then, there's also G1 RC, that is also adorable. Cyberverse RC is the best RC. No one can argue with me on that one. If they made this RC, the TF Prime RC, a different character, not RC, I might have had less of a problem, but I don't know who else that she could have been. Yeah, she was fearing losing another partner. I think it was she said that June couldn't protect Jack, but that RC knows what she's doing. Yeah, I understand. It's just when I first watched the episode, it just pissed me off so much. Also, fat-shaming Bulkhead every chance she got. Not okay, RC. Alright, now that I think about it, maybe it was only that one line. But still, it stuck out to me. I'll admit I'm just being petty. When it comes to Transformers Prime RC, I'm just being petty. I first watched the show when I was young. Transformers Animated was canceled to make way for Prime. So I'm bitter about that. So that might be part of it. I remember June was entering overprotective mom mode. Yeah, I can see it from both sides now, but when I first watched it, I was totally on June's side of things. Because I just didn't like RC for whatever reason. Wait a minute. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do this. And then clipping mask it so I can move things around. So I'm fairly certain with where they're standing, even though it's not this area. The area they're standing, the background should be wrong file. More of this. Standing here. This. And then we come back in with some of this, but a little bit darker. And then some of this. I'm pretty sure if I rewatched the show again, I would have less of a problem with RC. But when I was first watching it as a teenager, did not like her. We can all be petty. And also, I watched a video recently that someone brought up some points of the writing on Transformers Prime. I was like, I need to rewatch the show, because I thought the writing on the show was flawless, but then I'll... Surprise, surprise, your favorite show isn't as perfect as you thought it was. It's like, I'm gonna have to maybe come back to the show sometime. It's a bittersweet memory with Transformers Prime, because my beloved TFA was canceled to make way for Prime, which I didn't realize when I first started watching Prime, but I know it now, so now I'm a little bit like, I just formed a different attachment to her when I first watched it. Yeah. At least TFA had a good ending. The problem with Prime is a lot of character arcs and endings were rushed and abandoned. Like, Breakdown was supposed to have a redemption arc. Smokescreen was supposed to be Rodimus. You know, Smokescreen was supposed to be Hot Rod. Which I didn't realize until someone pointed out that Smokescreen's character was basically Hot Rod. Especially, you know, the bit with him almost becoming a Prime. And then never bringing it up again and then turning it into a joke. I'm totally not bitter about Smokescreen being shafted and not getting the mantle of Prime. Because, yes, he was an immature child, but, you know, maybe he could have done well. Dreadwing almost got a redemption arc too, but then they said, no, the studio got involved and said, yeah, kill off Breakdown and Dreadwing. It's like, okay. They could have done better with Smokescreen. Yeah. Spectacular Spider-Man and Tron Uprising both got canceled unceremoniously. Like, literally, they pulled the plug on them, and they had no plans of being brought back. At least the writers of TFA were notified while working on season 3 that they were not getting a season 4. So the writers had to work around a lot of timelines and abandon so many projects just to make room for what the studio wanted. 99.9% of the time, if your favorite show suddenly makes a decision character-wise that just seems out of nowhere or rushed, chances are it was a studio executive decision, and that the writers were forced to go along with it. Like, I could probably make a whole series of video essays talking about how the studio interference ruined Voltron Legendary Defender. I totally could. Like, if I gather all the information on it, I'll probably have to bring my sister in on it, because she did all, like, the research and the readings and whatnot. You'd be surprised how much studio interference will ruin a show. Or movie. Bane. Cartoon Network. Force Season 3. I've never seen Alien Force. I just watched Omniverse, and I really liked it. But apparently no one liked Omniverse. I was the only one. So, but what happened with Alien Force? But apparently, I know there are people that liked Omniverse, but apparently every time I Google Ben 10 Omniverse, first thing that pops up was Ben 10 Omniverse hated. It's like, why? Was a bit added out by the art style change, but I liked it. See, I was okay with Omniverse because it had the exact same animation style as Transformers Animated. And I had already watched Animated beforehand, so I was already used to this art style. So it didn't bother me as much. And then again, that was my first Ben 10 anything. So I had no preconceived ideas of what Ben 10 should or shouldn't look like. He's a superhero who can get the job done with the device that he wears on his arm. He can change his shape and save the world from harm. When lives are on the line, it's hero time, Ben 10. Do-dee-dee-dee. So that was another show that Corey Burton was in. He voiced Malware. And I loved Malware. Same with, oh, what was his name? What was his name? The really cool electric alien that Ben 10 used to use all the time when he was a kid, but he was, he had started using his, like, that form so much that it was altering his DNA. Feedback! Yeah, thank you. I loved feedback. Especially since his voice actor is the same as Greedling from Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. So that was fun. Alien Force Season 1 and 2 have an overarching story that was pretty great, calculating finale. Season 3 was a downgrade of Imagine like a 10-year-old again, and his character becomes inconsistent. That's unfortunate, man. Feedback was built to just be cool. Yeah, honestly, they followed the rule of cool when designing Feedback. He just looked so cool. And he sounded cool, too. And he had cool powers. Like in the first 2 seasons of Alien Force, he grows as a leader, and that's more mature, and some of the flawed characteristics as he gains made sense. But some are just why. I get it, man. Like, I used to love Voltron Legendary Defender, but then the last 2 seasons happened, and I was just, okay. You had a good thing, man. You kicked the ball to the back of net and said, I recognize that goal, it's mine. At some point, they made a crossover between Ben 10 and Generator Rex. Never heard of that. You know, it's funny. Ben 10 is one of those continuities where, or like one of those franchises where they could reboot it every generation, like Transformers and Ninja Turtles, but it just seems like there was a stint of Cartoon Network where like every year they had a new Ben 10 show, and then it just seems like recently we've heard nothing, or at the very least I have heard nothing about any new Ben 10 shows or properties. Radio silence. Hold on. I'll put that on top. And make it like multiply or something. Yeah, there we go. Was another man in a action series. It was a teenager hero who uses nanites inside of him. He can make weapons out of his body, and the same nanites were infecting others. Whoa! Called Evos, and he could cure them. That's interesting. How have I not heard of this series? I kind of miss that era of animation where we have, you know, like superhero TV shows, but they're not actual comic superheroes, but they are written as such. Like, I think the reason why I like TFA so much, and I didn't realize what it was until someone pointed it out, that TFA was written as a superhero TV show and less of a sci-fi alien battles TV show. Which I understand a lot of people didn't like, but I just think it made TFA stand out on its own for, you know, being its own, for being something different. Like, we hadn't seen a Transformers show like that. Very underrated. Okay, what's it called? Generator Rex. I will look that up. So I don't like it when shows are just the same as their predecessors. I want each incarnation to be different. Like, Cyberverse is so much different and unique from all other versions of Transformers, and it stands out because of it. And it's so good because it's its own thing. It's not just has its own art style, which also was very beautiful. Let me say, the art style in Transformers Cyberverse is so freaking cute! But, like, if you want Transformers but superheroes, watch Transformers Animated. If you want Transformers but furry, watch Beast Wars. If you want Transformers but Pokemon, watch Armada. If you want Transformers but Dark and War, you have your choice of Siege of Cybertron or Prime. If you want... Okay, what would... Superheroes... If you want OG Transformers, just watch Generation 1. I will warn you, it is hokey as hell. Actually, wait a minute, the sun. Fuck! The shadows are going to... Damn it! Hold up. Shh. Everyone calm down. For Cyberverse is very, breakneck speed. Like, if you want Transformers but cute, watch Rescue Bots. Like, Transformers but cute and about family, watch Rescue Bots. If you want Transformers but no humans, watch Cyberverse. Cyberverse has no humans. It was a breath of fresh air. And another thing that I really liked about Transformers Cyberverse, it also showed in flashbacks what Cybertron was like before the war. And it showed that most of the Cybertronians, like Autobots and Decepticons, they were friends. They all started out as, you know, at least knowing each other and being friendly, and, you know, in an episode where Bumblebee, you know, he has amnesia and he doesn't remember, like, the war or anything, but he remembers Megatron, and he remembers Megatron was his hero, and how he was a revolutionary, and how he wanted to be like Megatron. And Windblade was like, how can you say that after everything he's done to you? And he's like, wait, what'd he do? So it's like, I liked Cyberverse because it showed how much the war changed Cybertron, and just the way the Cybertronians interact with each other. And also how the, damn, be like Megatron, let's see. And while, yes, Cyberverse does seem like it's, like, geared more towards children, because it is very goofy and silly, they don't shy away from horror and character death. Like, characters legit freaking die. And they're dead gonzo for good. Like, I won't spoil who, but in Cyberverse, characters do die, and they are gone forever. And their absence is felt. It's a good character death. Yeah, none of this Marvel bullshit where you got, like, resurrections and whatnot. No, characters die and stay dead. Now, there was a few times where I thought a character died. I was like, oh, they're dead and gone now. But then it turns out that they were just fine. But that's because in Cyberverse, they have this habit of, like, doing time skips. And you're like, alright, keep up. They, like, throw you in the deep end and expect you to swim. Because, like, Season 1 of Cyberverse ended with the Autobots being all reunited, Bumblebee starting to get his memories back, and he and the Decepticons, like, start to fight. But then Season 2 kicks back up, and the war between the Autobots and Decepticons have now made it to the moon. They've been fighting for years. This is their last final decisive battle, and Bumblebee has all his memories back, and he can talk, because, you know, they did the voice through the radio thing for a bit of Season 1, which was actually really cute. I thought I would get annoyed with it, but it was adorable. So yeah, there was a time skip, and you better be able to keep up, because they will not be explaining it. They will not be showing you. Now, they do explain what happens. So, like, they'll do skips and whatnot, and sometimes they'll stop and explain it, but that's because it'd be, like, the stupid characters explaining it. And it's like, oh, haha, funny that they had to point that out to themselves. But I really like Cyberverse. It's becoming one of my favorite Transformers shows ever. Because originally, TFA and Beast Wars were my favorites. You know, with Prime and Armada in there. I reiterate what I said earlier. if you want Transformers but depressed, watch Siege for Cybertron, or Siege of Cybertron. If you want Transformers but zombies and body horror, watch Prime. Because they've got so much body horror and just zombies and whatnot. It's like, how'd they pull that off with a Transformers property? But they somehow did it. I've watched all of Siege. Siege of Cybertron is like the trilogy. My sister hasn't seen it yet. I really want her to watch it, just so we can cry together. But when I said, hey, don't get attached to any characters because a lot of them just die. But then she's like, well, now I don't want to watch it. Prime has a lot of horror-like scenes. Okay, what's your favorite episode, aside from Thirst? Because of all the Transformers Prime episodes, Thirst is my favorite Prime episode. So much so where I can't think of another episode that I liked in its entirety. Not as much as I liked Thirst, though. Watched all of 3. It was good. And sad. Yeah, Siege was sad, man. I think I legit cried, but I don't remember. Also, the Optimus Prime in Siege was so shy. It was adorable. Okay, now I gotta shade them. Not certain if I have a favorite episode. Oh, I meant in Prime. Transformers Prime. Thirst is my favorite episode. For Siege, man, I watched it once and I'll say never again because that hurt so much. If I ever watch Siege for Cybertron again, it'll have to be with someone just so we can cry together. Because I don't want to watch that by myself again. Same with Madoka Magica. I love that show, but I don't want to watch it again by myself, because then I'll cry. And I don't like crying alone. Because not only is is Thirst my favorite Prime episode, it also has my favorite line in the entire show, and it's Knockout's line. It's like, and you're the monkey wrench who is dabbling in voodoo. Precisely my mind. Like, what? It's Knockout's fault. Precisely my lead. What? Aim for the head. I have seen human horror films in drive-in theaters. Human horror films, waste of time. Also, just anytime Starscream and Knockout interacted in Prime was my favorite. Thems were bad bitches. Especially when Starscream is just smacking the Omega key on the table, and Knockout's like, oh gee, why didn't I think of that? Then the only reason they unlocked the keys is because they both were gonna smack each other with it. Oh, fuck me running. I got it backwards again. Ratchet gets infected and become... Yeah, that was Thirst. That's the best Prime episode, in my opinion. I mean, I can't think of another episode that an episode as a whole that I enjoyed so thoroughly. It's one of the only Transformers Prime episodes I've watched several times, just by itself. Every other time I've seen an episode more than once was for binging purposes. Yeah, I can't remember. Like, there were definitely certain scenes and interactions that I liked a lot, but none that was like a full episode. I don't remember anything about the episode, but there was one episode in Prime where Raph was grounded for not passing a class and whatnot. But they needed Raph's help on a mission, so they showed up to his house directly to, like, thwart the Decepticons. But then Soundwave was closing in with a drone and whatnot. And Fowler was there, and Raph had the best line ever. He's like, "My mom has eyes on the back of your head." I don't remember the episode, but I remember that line and that scene so much because me, my sister, and my mom were watching it, and she was just howling at how funny that was. And then when the mom comes in, it's like, "What's going on in here?" They're all sitting on the floor with books. It's like, study group. That was hilarious. I remember nothing else about the episode, but that bit was just so funny. So I'm gonna add a bit of green, because it's reflecting off the leaves. That was the episode where Breakdown's corpse was used as an ex-mili. Poor Breakdown. I fucking hate Silas. And then Megatron orders Knockout to dissect him in the end. I liked that. Everyone liked that. Breakdown would be tickled. I will leave no fiber nor fiber optic unexamined. Yep. It just showed that Knockout was upset that Silas had a part. Like, Silas didn't kill Breakdown, but he was the one that took Breakdown's eye. And Knockout wanted revenge for that. Because he couldn't get his revenge on Arachnid, so he took it out on Silas. And for butchering his partner's body in such a way. And I mean, they're canon. Knockout and Breakdown are canon. If you read the comics, they're legit canon. And it's just the way they use the term partner in that show in a very specific way. In the same way that the LGBTQ plus community uses the word partner. Yeah. They were a couple. Which also leads me to believe that RC and Tailgate were a couple, or at the very least, almost a couple, and then he, you know, of course, died. And then she found solace in Cliffjumper. It's just the way they use the term partner and accentuate the term makes me believe it actually means something other than just teammate. Because if they just meant teammate, they could just say comrade. I forgot to smooth the colors on this one, so we're just going to roll with it. Yeah, we all know Knockout's fruity. You know what's funny? Knockout was he's an original character that was designed for the show, and when the designers showed the studio his design, you know, of an Aston Martin, they were like, the studio said he was the sexiest robot they'd ever seen. So then that's when they gave him his personality of being very vain and fruity. I'm gonna find out RC's backstory in the Ratchet. That was my favorite episode. That one freaked the hell out of me, mostly because Arachnid is a spider, and I have arachnophobia. But also, my god, like what I said about the body horror that's in that show is absolutely terrifying. And hello, Emerald. We're talking about Transformers, because I have nothing else on my mind right now. Don't you just love brain rot? Now I'm not so sure about the backgrounds of this page, because the sky and lighting looks more like early morning. It's supposed to be late evening. So, I mean, I can fix that with just a bit of tweaking. Color-wise. Oops. I also have arachnophobia, but when you show me half of the female spiders, I'm afraid and intrigued. Really been on a Transformers rampage, so this is a nice conversation. Well, okay, we're all in the same boat then. Mine started because my sister and I just randomly decided to watch Cyberverse. Like, we finally got around to watching Transformers Cyberverse out of nowhere, and it's a really damn good show. Don't judge my tastes. Hey, no judgment here. I think robots are sexy. So, let's just... Yeah, we like Prime in this house. Personally, I'm more of a Transformers animated fan, but I do like Prime. I loved it when it was first coming out. I need to erase that. Oh, that's, that's unfortunate. It's doing nothing to help the cause. Oh well. We'll just leave it there. All right, let's get controversial yet brave. Which of the Unicron series is your guys' favorite, if you've seen them at all? That is including Armada, Transformers Energon, and Transformers Cybertron. Personally, Armada is my favorite. Mostly because it's just Transformers but Pokemon. And I also really like Pokemon. So, who am I to judge? Bumblebee is my favorite. No one can change my mind. Hey, valid! Bumblebee is an amazing character. No one's saying otherwise. The only people who don't like Bumblebee only hate him because he's, quote, overrated. And I mean, come on. That, like, if you're gonna hate a character because they're overrated in air quotes, then you must also hate Optimus Prime. Z is also overrated with air quotes. So yeah, we like Bumblebee in this house. My favorite Bumblebee. My favorite Bumblebee. Like like cross continuity. Probably animated, but that's more because he's this punky little teenager, and I love him. I think Prime's one of my favorite, would be the first ones. Haven't you heard? Humans multiply. That is a funny line. It's been a long time since I've seen any of the Unicron trilogy. Armada was my favorite. God dang it, I love Armada. It's so stupid. Also, but that show, for me, was revolutionary because it was one of the first ever Transformers shows to have episodes from the Decepticon perspective. Like, at that time, not a lot of shows did that. Maybe some of the comics, but this is the first time they made the Decepticons like actual likable and relatable characters. Especially Starscream. A lot of people liked Starscream. You know, like, oh, he's such a sympathetic character. They're getting that subconsciously from Armada. Because Armada introduced Starscream as being a very sympathetic and likable character. I haven't watched animated yet. It has my stamp of approval. I will warn you though, if you want to get into Transformers Armada, it has a lot of animation errors, and it is definitely a product of its time, just like G1 is a product of its time. So many animation errors. Alright, I think that fits the background of the characters. I gotta fix their lighting. Let's just make it more orange. Isn't my favorite, but he's not a bad character. Yeah, across continuity, Starscream has always been a likable character for me. I'm on the wrong layer. He is my son. so things on the screen to laugh at or get psychic damage out of it. Yeah. I love a song that you love a song that would stab you in the back. In the back? Hell no. He'd stab me in the front. I always put Megatron over Starscream. Yeah, I'm a Megatron girly through and through, too. I'm a Megatron fangirl. Even though he is very abusive to his son, Starscream. But I can forgive him for that. No, I can't. He's my favorite character except when he's being an abusive asshole. But then he's just a good villain at that point. Totally not did... And I totally didn't just out my whole headcanon that Starscream is actually Megatron's son, so shh. Stop reading fanfics, they're confusing you. I'm not saying it's one of my main headcanons that I keep with me across continuities, but let's just say if I were able to pitch a Transformers show, I would totally make Starscream and Megatron blood-related. At least blood-related in air quotes. But I would also make, like... Starscream and Megatron are father and son, and I would also make Optimus and Bumblebee father and son, and just to show the differences between their dynamics. Because of course you gotta be educational for the kids, but then some kids could also then relate to Starscream as like, yeah, I don't have the healthiest relationship with my parents either. So yeah. A lot of people ship Megatron and Starscream, and I'm just, ugh. I see them too much as a toxic and abusive family dynamic for me to actually ship them. And also, I don't like shipping toxic. You know, honestly, I should take notes on how I would change, not change, but how I would pitch, Transformers. Because I've already done, like, if I were to pitch, Ninja Turtles, I have a few ideas. Also, if I were to pitch Scooby-Doo, which probably won't happen, but I have some notes. So, funny story, I actually watched Transformers Robots in Disguise before Transformers Prime, so I had to get used to Bumblebee just buzzing instead of talking. Yeah, I really wish that they didn't make Robots in Disguise connected to Prime, because then it just left a bitter taste in my mouth for people who liked Prime, and then to watch Robots in Disguise and go, okay, this is a thing. But then it got so bad to the point where the only time people actually liked or was interested in Robots in Disguise is when they reminded the audience of Prime. And that's just not good storytelling for a sequel. Like, if your strongest points are when you keep saying, hey, remember the old thing? Please care about these new characters while they proceed to call the old characters that you liked, like old men and senile. It's like, that's not how you do that, company. Don't make Optimus look like a senile old man that doesn't know what he's talking about. Don't do that. Because then people aren't gonna like it. Totally not bitter about Robots in Disguise. I think I watched half of an episode and then just went, nope, not watching that, not my thing. Next. If I want to be constantly reminded of Prime, I'll just watch Prime. Fuck. Was that on the whole time? I thought I hit that button! God damn it. Well, that's embarrassing. Fuck me. Anyway. If the whole point of your show is to keep reminding me about the old thing that you're based off of, I'm just gonna watch the old thing and not give a damn about your new characters. I call it the Remember Star Wars paradox, because all of, what was that damn movie called? The Force Awakens. All The Force Awakens did was keep reminding people about the old Star Wars movies. To say, remember Star Wars? Which I got it from, Lyle Rath's Spoilers Ahead series, where he made fun of Star Wars for like 30 minutes, and it was the funniest thing ever. So it's just a sign of weak writing, or weak and unconfident writing, if all you're doing is trying to remind the audience of the old thing that they liked. Which is also why I don't like any of the new Jurassic Park movies, because all they did was remind people of the old Jurassic Park. So why would I give a fuck about your new Jurassic World if all you're gonna do is say, hey, remember Jurassic Park? The series that you liked because you were a nostalgic little child? Ugh. Got bored real fast. There were so many filler episodes. It got to the point where just the whole show, and just couldn't believe I understand it. Can't believe I finished it. That's called perseverance, my guy. How is it 2:30 already? And of course you're not responding anymore. Pray hands, everybody. Medibane froze. Never mind. Alright, now please don't freeze. Please don't freeze. Please don't. It froze. You know, it's funny, I say, hey, if you want to use a good program, use Medibane Paint Pro, but it always freezes on me. But that just might be my CPU freezing and not the program. I don't blame the program. I blame my computer for being slow as hell. I will say the comedy in Robots in Disguise is pretty good. I haven't seen it, so I honestly can't give my full attention, like, a full review. all I know is that I really did not like the animation style. Something about the animation just really annoyed me. Okay, I think that's good. Save. Yes. Transparent. When it comes to, like, the funniest Transformers show I've seen, that's either got to be a tie between Transformers Beast Wars and Cyberverse. Because Beast Wars was just funny all the way through. A lot of slapstick comedy. And just David K's Megatron was so funny. Just so hilarious and campy and pompous, and I love him. But Cyberverse, legitimately, I had to pause the video because I was wheezing so hard I couldn't frickin' breathe. So if I have to say who's the funniest show, it would probably be very close between Beast Wars and Cyberverse. Now, Cyberverse was less funny and just cute all the way through. It was really cute, the whole show. But Beast Wars was genuinely funny in most scenes. Cyberverse, I just wasn't feeling it. Yeah, the first episode isn't really what the show is about. Is after season, like, get a few episodes in, and when they actually start moving along, then Cyberverse is amazing. The season 2 and 3 are really good. Season 1's a little slow, but then it picks right back up. Once Cyberverse picks up, it's full speed ahead. I love it when a show just runs up to me and says, "Think fast, chuckle nuts," and hits me with world building and all sorts of things. Time skips and whatnot. Hey, Snowy Prince. Were you just lurking the whole time? That's okay. I want to finish Prime, then I'll start Cyberverse. Oh, I warn you. When watching Cyberverse, it was on Netflix, but Netflix doesn't have the first 2 seasons. So you're gonna have to go find them elsewhere. I totally did not watch them on Watch Cartoons Online with ad blocker just so it can be more bearable to watch. Totally did not use that unreputable website. So that's where I found those episodes. But then once you finish season 2, then you can scoot on over to Netflix, who only has the last 2 seasons. And season 4 is only 2 episodes. So what the fuck, Netflix? Streams don't work for my internet very well. Oh, that's okay. I know the feeling, man. I know the feeling. Which motorcycle is that? Oh. Okay, I only needed that one for refs. I do have full episodes on YouTube. That's where I watched the first Cyberverse episode. I didn't know they were all on YouTube. Man, I was fighting with Watch Cartoons Online that I totally was not watching. But YouTube has been fighting my ad blocker as of recently, and it's annoying the hell out of me. Because I have to keep refreshing the page because they said, you're using an ad blocker. Ad blockers violate YouTube's terms of service. And I'm like, they do not! Shut up, man. Anyway, I'm going to save this. And I think... this is gonna be it for today's stream. Then there's the skip ad things too. Runs the ads and also skips it. It's so annoying. YouTube desperately wants people to pay for premium to get no ads, so they're just adding all sorts of ads everywhere just to make it so goddamn unbearable. But it's not just YouTube. It's the internet as a whole that's just throwing ads everywhere to the point where it's just unbearable. I had, like, even on mobile games are so bad when it comes to ads. You can't even play it anymore. Like, I had 2 games. I had 3 games on my phone. Bejeweled, Plants vs. Zombies, and Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go still doesn't have ads, thank God. But Bejeweled had ads that were in between every other level, and sometimes mid-level. That totally ruined my gameplay, because an ad popped up and wouldn't go away, so I had to close the app and boot it back up again and restart the damn level. But then on Plants vs. Zombies, which I only downloaded for nostalgia because I used to love playing the game, it had no ads on mobile. Now, there's an ad in between every single level. Some of them aren't even skippable, and half of them can... Like, if you hit the wrong button, guess what? You've just downloaded 3 viruses. It's just, oh, come on, guys. So I just got rid of it. If I want to play Plants vs. Zombies, I'll just play it on my Steam account. Because there's no ads there. Anyway. My voice hurts. Why are your names orange? Games are on YouTube. Yep, ads just ruin the experience. So much so where I've actually legitimately considered not watching YouTube on my phone anymore. Because my phone doesn't have an ad blocker, but my PC does. And I can barely... YouTube is unbearable without an ad blocker. I'm gonna need the script for these next few pages. Okay, I posted those. This one is done. This one is done. Just marking off the files off the screen. Probably see you soon. Enjoy your Prime. Well, we are gonna end the stream here anyway, because my voice hurts and I have a lot of as you can see, a lot of sketching to be done. And I hate sketching on stream. So, anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Whether you watch live or after the fact, either way, I love you. I stream every Tuesday at 11 o'clock. Pacific Standard Time. Yep. Transform and roll out. You know what? If I ever rebranded the channel or made a second channel that was Transformers themed, that's how I would end every video. Or Transform and Rise Up, because that's a TFA thing. Anyway, sidetracked. I stream every Tuesday around 11 o'clock. There's a plane flying by. It's a Decepticon. And I have no news on whether or not this week is going to have a video or not, because I have no plans. These videos have just been kicking my ass, and I need to finish my comic. So, for the sake of my comic, there might not be any videos this week. Is it your son, Steve? Well, I don't know. It did sound like a jet. And Starstream is an F-22 in the Bayverse, which absolutely suck. But anyway, that is neither here nor there. I'm trying to end stream, damn it. Quit distracting me. Oh god. Okay, what else? No, that's just about it. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.